Men spend their lives trying to master the power of the spoken word. They believe the key that unlocks a woman's heart is a silver tongue, the perfect compliment, the witty comeback, the charming story. The modern man is terrified of silence. He is a frantic host, rushing to fill every empty space in a conversation with the cheap furniture of his own words, believing that to be silent is to be boring, to be forgotten. But this is a profound and tragic misunderstanding of the nature of masculine power and female attraction. The shocking truth is that the man who truly captivates a woman, the man who imprints himself on her soul in a way she can never erase, is not the master of conversation. He is the master of silence. He is the master of restraint. His power is not in what he says, but in what he has the strength not to say. If you do not understand this hidden dynamic, you are playing a losing game. Every time you rush to fill a silence with nervous chatter, you are handing her a piece of your power. Every time you over-explain yourself, justify your actions, or seek her approval with a torrent of words, you are screaming a single, deeply unattractive message. Your opinion of me is my oxygen, and I am suffocating without it. You are not seducing her. You are auditioning for her. You are a jester trying to entertain the queen, hoping she will toss you a coin of her affection. Today, we pull back the curtain on this secret. We will explore the profound, almost mystical reasons why a woman's spirit is drawn, not to the man who makes the most noise, but to the man whose silence is a statement of power. We will do this through the lens of Stoicism, because this is not about learning a new dating tactic. This is about forging a soul that has nothing to prove. It is the understanding that true strength isn't projected outward with boasts and noise. It is cultivated inward, in the quiet fortress of a disciplined mind. Before we can harness the power of silence, we must first reset your understanding of the world. You must accept that women, like all human beings, are governed by a set of deep-seated, unconscious reflexes. Their attractions are not primarily logical choices. They are instinctual responses to perceived strength, stability, and value. The vast majority of men are completely blind to this. They interact only with the surface, with her words, with her stated desires, and they are perpetually confused when her actions contradict them. They are trying to read the cover of a book written in a language they don't understand. The Stoic, however, does not merely read the cover. He learns the language. He does not react to the surface-level drama. He decodes the deep-level signals. He understands that every interaction is a data point, an opportunity to underlying mechanics of human nature. The great Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world, wrote to himself in the quiet of his tent, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Her moods, her tests, her opinions, these are outside events. Your silence, your restraint, your unshakable inner calm, this is your mind. This is the source of all your power." The journey we are on is not about learning to manipulate women with silence. It is about achieving a state of inner sovereignty so profound that your silence becomes a natural expression of your strength. It is about becoming the man whose peace is so solid, so unshakable, that she finds herself craving to be near it, to understand it, to earn her place within it. The battlefield is always within. The man who conquers the chaos in his own soul will find that the world outside has a strange way of arranging itself in his favor. The first and most fundamental reason women crave a man who has mastered silence is because silence creates a vacuum of mystery. The average man is an open book, and a boring one at that. He is so terrified of being misunderstood or disliked that he narrates his own life in real time. He explains his jokes, justifies his opinions, and clarifies his intentions until there is nothing left to the imagination. He's a walking, talking instruction manual for himself. A woman meets him, And within 10 minutes, she knows his entire life story, his political views, his insecurities, and his desperate need for her approval. The puzzle is solved before it has even been presented. And a solved puzzle is no longer interesting. It is put back on the shelf and forgotten. The man of words believes he is building connection, but he is actually destroying the single most potent ingredient in seduction: suspense. The man who has mastered silence, on the other hand, is a locked room. He is a deep, still lake whose bottom cannot be seen. His economy of words creates a profound vacuum, and human nature, especially a curious female mind, abhors a vacuum. Her imagination will rush in to fill the space you leave empty, where the talkative man gives her facts about himself. The silent man gives her questions. Who is he really? What is he thinking? What does he value? Why is he so calm? She has to work to understand him. She has to invest her own mental and emotional energy into the project of deciphering him. And it is a fundamental law of human psychology that we value what we have to work for. By saying less, you are forcing her to do more. You are turning the interaction from a passive performance she is watching into an active puzzle she is compelled to solve. She is no longer the audience. She is the detective. And the prize she seeks is the secret of who you are. This is not a game of being intentionally vague or evasive. That is the tactic of a weak man trying to imitate a strong one. True mastery of silence comes not from a desire to be mysterious, but from a state of being so grounded in your own reality that you feel no compulsive need to explain it to anyone. It is the silence of the man who has nothing to prove. Think of the wise men and sages of history and scripture. Their power was never in their verbosity. The proverb says, "In the multitude of words there wanteth not sin, but he that refraineth his lips is wise." The wise man's words have weight precisely because they are rare. He speaks with intention, not with compulsion. The same principle applies in the world of attraction. The man who is comfortable in his own silence communicates on a deep, nonverbal level, a profound self-possession. He is not performing for you. He is not seeking your validation. He simply is. Your application of this is to learn the art of the pause. When she finishes speaking, do not immediately jump in with your own story. Let the silence hang for a moment. Hold her gaze. Let her feel the weight of your attention without the distraction of your words. When she asks you a question, especially a personal one, do not launch into a 5-minute monologue. Give a concise, thoughtful, and honest answer, and then stop. Let your answer be a complete sentence, not the first chapter of a novel. For example, if she asks what you do for a living, do not give her your entire resume and a list of your career anxieties. Say, "I build software," and then let the silence invite her to ask a more specific question if she is truly interested. You are teaching her that your attention and your information are valuable commodities, not cheap goods given away for free. You are making her work for you, invest in you, and she will be all the more captivated because of it. The man who is an open book is read once and put away. The man who is a locked room will have her trying to pick the lock for a lifetime. Master the void, and she will never stop trying to fill it with her attention. The second reason silence and restraint are so powerfully attractive is because they are the ultimate demonstration of emotional control. And a woman's entire being is designed to seek out a man who is the master of his own inner world. This is silence is a shield that deflects her tests. A woman's communication is often not a direct exchange of information, but a series of subtle, and sometimes not so subtle, emotional probes. She will test you with playful insults, with backhanded compliments, with loaded questions, and with sudden shifts in her mood. These are not necessarily malicious attacks. They are instinctual radars, scanning for your emotional weak spots. She is subconsciously asking, Is this man's confidence real, or is it a fragile performance? Can he handle emotional pressure? Is he a rock I can anchor myself to, or is he a leaf that will be blown about by the winds of my feelings? The man who reacts with a torrent of words is a man who has failed this test instantly and catastrophically. Consider the classic test of the playful insult. She might jab at your clothing, your car, or your profession with a sarcastic comment. The average man, whose ego is a fragile thing built on her approval, immediately feels the sting. He feels compelled to defend himself, to justify his choices, to prove her wrong. He will launch into a long defensive explanation about why his shirt is actually fashionable, why his car is practical, or why his job is respectable. With every word he speaks, he is digging his own grave. He is screaming, non-verbally, "Your opinion has the power to destabilize me. Your words can pierce my armor. You are in control of my emotional state." He has taken her bait, and she has learned everything she needs to know. He is weak. He is reactive. He is controllable. He is not a rock. He is sand, easily shifted by her slightest touch. The Stoic man, the master of silence and restraint, understands this game at a profound level. He sees her tests not as threats, but as gifts, opportunities to display his unshakable inner frame. When she fires her verbal arrow, he does not meet it with a flurry of defensive words. He meets it with the impenetrable shield of his silence. Imagine she says, "You're always so serious. Don't you ever have fun?" The weak man will list all the fun things he does, desperately trying to prove her wrong. The Stoic man will simply hold her gaze for a beat longer than is comfortable, perhaps with the faintest hint of a knowing smile, and say nothing. He lets her words hang in the air, stripped of all their power by his utter lack of reaction. The silence that follows is deafening. It is a space filled with his unspoken strength. It communicates far more powerfully than any witty comeback. Your words have no effect on me. My emotional state is not for sale. I am the sole judge of my own character. This is the essence of what the ancient philosophers called apatheia, a state not of being emotionless, but of being undisturbed by the passions. You see the emotion, you acknowledge it, but you do not allow it to command you. This is the mindset of Christ before his accusers. When they hurled insults and false accusations at him, did he engage in lengthy, defensive debates? No. He often met their frantic rage with a profound and powerful silence. His silence was not weakness. It was a statement of his absolute sovereignty. He was operating on a plane they could not touch. This is your model. Your silence in the face of her tests is a declaration of your own sovereignty. You are not playing her game. You are demonstrating that you are the master of your own. By refusing to verbally defend your fortress, you prove that it is impenetrable. She has prodded you, and she has hit solid rock. The respect she will feel for a man who cannot be provoked, who cannot be emotionally manipulated by her words, is immense. It is the respect for a true master of himself. Control your tongue, and you will control the frame. The man who cannot be baited cannot be beaten. The third reason is deeply primal, tapping into the very core of masculine-feminine polarity. It is a secret that has been lost in the noise of the modern world, but one that a woman's soul still understands perfectly. This is silence, is the language of dominant masculinity. From the dawn of time, the masculine principle has been associated with stillness, with presence, with the silent strength of the mountain. The feminine principle, in contrast, is associated with flow, with expression, with the beautiful and chaotic energy of the ocean. A man who is constantly talking, constantly explaining, constantly filling the air with nervous energy, is operating from a place of feminine, expressive energy. He is trying to be the ocean. He is abdicating his natural masculine role as the silent, solid shoreline that gives the ocean its shape and its container. A woman may be momentarily entertained by such a man, but she cannot feel a deep primal polarity with him. He feels less like her opposite, her complement, and more like her competitor. It creates a subtle, energetic repulsion. The man who has mastered silence, however, embodies the very essence of the masculine pole. His stillness is not empty. It is full. It is filled with presence, with awareness, with a latent power that is all the more potent for being held in reserve. His silence is a statement of dominance, not a brutish, aggressive dominance over her, but a profound, quiet dominance over himself and his environment. He's the man who can sit comfortably in a room and simply observe, without feeling the need to be the center of attention. He's the eye of the storm, the calm, unmoving point around which the chaos of the world can spin. This creates an incredibly powerful energetic pull for a woman. She, in her flowing, expressive, feminine nature, is instinctively drawn to the man who can be her container. His silent, solid presence makes her feel safe. It makes her feel that she can relax into her natural femininity, that she can express her emotions, her joys, her fears, without overwhelming him, because he is the shoreline, and he will not be moved. Think of the archetypal strong, silent figures in our culture, from the stoic cowboy to the wise old king. Their power is never in their verbosity. It is in their economy of words, their deliberate actions, and the immense weight of their silent presence. When they do speak, their words have the force of a decree, precisely because they are used so sparingly. This is the principle of scarcity applied to communication. A man who talks constantly is devaluing his own words. They are cheap, abundant, and therefore meaningless. A man who is restrained, who speaks only when he has something of substance to say, imbues his words with immense value. When he gives a compliment, it lands with the force of a thunderclap, because she knows it is not one of 1,000 cheap compliments he has given that day. When he makes a promise, she believes it, because he is not a man who wastes his breath on frivolous chatter. His word becomes his bond, a thing of immense weight and value. This is what it means to be a man of substance. It is not about having a certain amount of money or possessions. It is about having a certain psychic weight. The man who is mastered silence has this weight. He feels solid. He feels real. He is not a collection of nervous tics and anxious words. He is a presence. Your application of this is to cultivate a deep comfort with your own stillness. Practice being, not just doing. When you are with a woman, focus less on what you are going to say and more on the energy you are projecting. Are you a frantic, chattering brook, or are you a deep, still lake? Are you a nervous gust of wind, or are you the unmoving mountain? You must understand that your silent, grounded presence is a gift you are giving her. It is the gift of masculine polarity. In a world of noisy, anxious boys all trying to talk their way into her bed, the man who can command a room with his quiet, powerful stillness is not just a man. He is a king. And a woman will always be drawn to the silent power of the throne. The fourth reason is a paradox that a weak man will never comprehend. It is the shocking truth that the most powerful way to draw a woman closer is to demonstrate, through your restraint, that you are perfectly capable of walking away. This is restraint signals a lack of neediness. The average man operates from a deep-seated fear of loss. He is terrified that if he doesn't constantly text her, please her, and entertain her, she will lose interest and disappear. This fear makes him needy, and neediness is the absolute kryptonite of female attraction. A needy man is a man who is telegraphing, with every action, my happiness and sense of self-worth are dependent on you. Please don't leave me. This is not an attractive proposition. It is a desperate plea. It makes a woman feel burdened, trapped, and ultimately repulsed. She feels like a doctor being asked to provide life support to a terminally ill patient. His neediness is a constant drain on her energy. The man who has mastered restraint, particularly his communication and his pursuit, sends the exact opposite message. His restraint is a powerful, nonverbal declaration of his self-sufficiency. When he doesn't immediately text her back, when he doesn't bombard her with compliments, when he gives her space and allows for silence, he is demonstrating a profound truth. My life is full and my purpose is clear. Your presence is a wonderful addition to it, but it is not a requirement for my happiness or my survival. This is not an act of feigned indifference. It is the natural expression of a man who is genuinely secure in himself. He has an abundance mentality. He is not clinging to her out of a fear of scarcity, because he knows that his own value is the ultimate source of his security. This lack of neediness is incredibly liberating for a woman. It frees her from the exhausting job of being his emotional caretaker. It allows her to desire him rather than feeling obligated to him. This is the principle of the takeaway, a concept as old as human interaction itself. We are inherently drawn to that which is not easily obtained. Think of the story of Jacob and Rachel. Jacob worked for 7 years for the right to marry Rachel, and the scripture says, "They seemed unto him but a few days, for the love he had to her." The value of the prize was magnified by the effort required to obtain it. In the modern dating world, the man has become the prize that is given away for free. His attention, his time, his validation, he offers it all up on a silver platter, hoping his generosity will be rewarded. The man of restraint, however, subtly positions himself as the prize. His attention is earned, not given. His time is valuable. His validation is a rare reward, not a constant stream. He is not playing a game. He is simply operating from a place of high self-worth. Your application of this is to practice the art of the pullback. In your communication, you must mirror her energy, but always be slightly less available, slightly less eager. Let her be the last one to text. Let some of her calls go to voicemail. Create periods of silence where you are completely focused on your own mission. You are not ghosting her. You are demonstrating that you have a life outside of her. This is not about being cold. It is about being busy building your own empire. The anxiety this will create in her is not a negative anxiety. It is the positive, attractive anxiety of suspense. She will begin to wonder, what is he doing? Who is he with? Why isn't he more focused on me? You have shifted the dynamic from one where you are chasing her to one where she is subconsciously chasing you. You have become the mountain she must climb, not the pebble in her shoe. The man who demonstrates through his restraint that he is perfectly willing to lose her is the one she will work tirelessly to keep. Master the art of the pullback, and you will master the art of her unwavering attention. The fifth and perhaps most profound reason women crave a man of restraint is that his silence gives her the space to expose her own heart. This is silence invites her to reveal herself. The talkative, nervous man dominates the conversational landscape. He's so busy broadcasting his own thoughts, feelings, and stories that there is no room left for hers. He treats conversation as a monologue, a performance in which he is the star. He may ask her questions, but he doesn't truly listen to the answers. He is just waiting for his turn to speak again. He is so focused on impressing her that he never actually creates the conditions for genuine connection. He leaves the interaction feeling like he has performed well, but he knows nothing more about the woman's soul than when he started. He has built a wall of words between them. The man who has mastered silence, however, becomes a conversational vacuum. His quiet, attentive presence creates a space of immense psychological safety and invitation. He is not trying to impress her. He is trying to understand her. He embodies the Stoic virtue of a discerning listener. Epictetus, the great Stoic philosopher, taught that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. The man of restraint lives this principle. His silence is not a passive, empty state. It is an active, engaged listening. It is a powerful, nonverbal signal that says, what you have to say is important. I am here. I am present. The floor is yours. This is an incredibly rare and intoxicating experience for most women. They are used to men who are waiting to talk, not men who are waiting to listen. In the space of this silent, attentive presence, a woman will begin to do something remarkable. She will begin to fill it. She will start to talk not just about superficial things, but about her hopes, her fears, her dreams, her past. She will volunteer information that you would never have been able to extract with 1,000 clumsy questions. She is, in essence, revealing her own inner world to you, laying the blueprint of her soul at your feet. This happens because your silence makes her feel safe and unjudged. She knows you are not just waiting for a gap in the conversation to insert your own story. You are truly listening. And in the process of her revealing herself, a powerful psychological bond is formed. She is not just talking to you. She is investing in you. She is making herself vulnerable to you, and the act of making oneself vulnerable is a profound catalyst for intimacy and attraction. The more she reveals, the more invested she becomes. Your application of this is to shift your entire mindset about conversation. Your goal is not to talk. Your goal is to listen. Your goal is not to impress. Your goal is to understand. When she is speaking, your focus should be absolute. You are not thinking about your reply. You are absorbing her words, her tone, her body language. You are listening for the emotion behind the words. When she finishes a thought, you do not immediately respond. You hold the silence for a beat. This nonverbal cue is incredibly powerful. It tells her that you are actually processing what she said, that you are giving it the weight it deserves. When you do speak, it is often not to share your own story, but to ask a clarifying, deepening question based on what she has just told you. For example, if she tells you about a struggle at work, the talkative man will immediately jump in with a story about his own work struggles. The man of restraint will hold the silence and then ask, "That sounds incredibly frustrating. What was the most difficult part of that for you?" See the difference? One man has made it about himself. The other has invited her to go deeper into her own experience. He is a guide, leading her further into her own soul. The man who talks too much will only ever know the surface of a woman. The man who masters the art of listening will come to know her very soul. And the woman who feels truly seen and heard by a man without judgment will give that man a loyalty that is absolute. The sixth reason is a powerful demonstration of a man's character in the face of life's inevitable storms. It is in the crucible of conflict and chaos that the true value of restraint is revealed, separating the men from the boys with brutal clarity. This is restraint in chaos, signals unshakable strength. Life is not a placid lake. It is a raging sea of unforeseen problems, frustrations, and crises. A tire will go flat on a dark road. A flight will be canceled. A plan will fall apart. In these moments of chaos, a person's true nature is revealed. The average man, whose sense of control is a fragile illusion dependent on things going smoothly, crumbles. When chaos erupts, he becomes a part of it. He descends into anger, blame, and frantic, panicked energy. He curses the airline. He kicks the flat tire. He raises his voice. He's a child having a tantrum because the universe is not obeying his wishes. He's radiating weakness, broadcasting to her and to the world that his inner peace is entirely conditional, a hostage to external events. A woman watching this spectacle feels a chill run down her spine. She is witnessing, in real time, that the man she is with is not a source of safety, but another source of chaos. He is not a protector. He is another child she must manage. The man who has mastered restraint, the Stoic warrior, understands that chaos is the natural state of the universe. He does not expect life to be easy or fair. He has trained himself, through rigorous mental discipline, to accept reality as it is, not as he wishes it would be. He has internalized the great Stoic teaching that the only thing truly in his control is his own response to external events. Therefore, when chaos erupts, he does not meet it with more chaos. He meets it with a profound and powerful stillness. He does not waste his energy on useless anger or blame. That would be a foolish surrender of his most precious resource, his own rational mind. Instead, he embodies the principle of amor fati, a love of one's fate. He accepts the new, unpleasant reality with a calm, dignified resolve. The flight is canceled. That is the new fact. He does not argue with the fact. He simply takes a breath. His restraint in that moment is a powerful force. It is a declaration of his inner sovereignty. He is the calm eye of the storm. While everyone else is panicking, he is still. And from that stillness, he begins to act. Not with frantic energy, but with calm, deliberate reason. He assesses the situation. He identifies the next logical, productive step. He gets on his phone, not to complain on social media, but to find another flight. He speaks to the airline agent, not with anger, but with a calm, respectful firmness. He is not a victim of the situation. He is the commander of his response to it. A woman witnessing this is witnessing a display of true, unadulterated masculine power. She is seeing a man who is not a slave to his circumstances, but a master of himself. She is seeing a man whose strength is not a performance for the good times, but a deep, internal wellspring that he can draw from in the bad times. The sense of profound safety and security she feels in the presence of such a man is indescribable. She knows, on a level that transcends conscious thought, that this is a man she can follow into any battle. This is a man she can trust with her. This is the promise of the scripture. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh a city. The true conquest is not over the external world. It is over the inner world of your own passions. Your application of this is to begin to see every frustration, every inconvenience, every moment of chaos in your life as a training ground. It is an opportunity to practice your restraint. When you feel that hot surge of anger, that frantic pulse of panic, you must learn to meet it with the cool, calm discipline of your rational mind. Take a breath. Create a space between the event and your response. In that space lies your freedom and your strength. The man who can remain calm when everyone else is panicking is not just a man. He is a leader. And his quiet, powerful restraint in the face of chaos is a quality she will value above all others. The seventh and final reason is perhaps the most counterintuitive, a secret that cuts against the grain of everything modern romance teaches. It is the understanding that true, lasting desire is not stoked by constant presence, but by the skillful application of absence. This is restraint, is the engine of longing. The modern man, in his desperate quest for a woman's affection, has been taught to believe in the power of proximity. He thinks that if he is always around, always available, always in her messages, he can secure his place in her heart. He operates on a principle of saturation, hoping to overwhelm her with the sheer volume of his presence. He doesn't understand that he is committing a fatal error in the alchemy of attraction. He is forgetting that fire needs oxygen to burn. By being constantly present, he is smothering the very flames he wishes to stoke. He's leaving no room for a crucial ingredient in the recipe of desire: longing. A woman cannot miss you if you are never gone. She cannot wonder about you if you are always there. She cannot crave your attention if it is a cheap and abundant commodity. The man who has mastered restraint understands this dynamic at a soul level. He knows that his absence is just as powerful, if not more powerful, than his presence. His restraint is not just about holding his tongue. It is about holding back his entire self at strategic moments. He's not afraid of the space between their interactions. He does not see it as a void to be feared, but as a canvas upon which her imagination can paint. He deliberately creates these spaces. He ends a wonderful date on a high note, leaving her wanting more. He lets a day go by without contacting her, allowing the memory of their last interaction to marinate in her mind. He is not playing a game of hard to get. He's demonstrating a profound understanding of human nature. He is giving her the gift of his absence, and in doing so, he is giving her the space to experience the beautiful, aching pleasure of longing. For him, this is a spiritual principle that echoes through the ages. The sacred is often veiled. The Holy of Holies in the ancient temple was not a public square. It was a space of profound absence, accessible only once a year. Its power was in its restraint, its unavailability. In the same way, the man who makes himself perpetually available becomes common, profane. The man who practices restraint, who makes his time and his presence a valuable and sometimes scarce resource, elevates himself. He becomes a sacred object in her mind. In the silent spaces he creates, her mind begins to work. She replays their last conversation. She remembers the way he looked at her. She wonders what he is doing, who he is with. She begins to idealize him, to build him up in her mind. The positive feelings she has for him are not diluted by constant, mundane contact. They are concentrated, amplified by his absence. He is no longer just a man she is dating. He is a presence that occupies her thoughts, even when he is not there. Your application of this is to become a master of the exit. Always be the one to end the phone call. Be the one to end the text exchange. Be the one to end the date, leaving her on a high note, always wanting just a little bit more. You must fight the needy impulse within you that wants to prolong every interaction, to extract every last drop of validation. You must cultivate the strength to walk away when things are good. You must trust in the power of your own impact. Trust that the impression you made is enough to sustain her interest until your next meeting. This is the ultimate act of faith in your own value. The man who is afraid to be absent is a man who doubts his own worth. The man who embraces absence is a man who knows that his presence is a powerful enough drug that she will be craving another. Hit. Your restraint is not about pushing her away. It is about pulling her in. Master the art of absence, and you will become a permanent resident in the most valuable real estate in the world, her mind. So, we have unearthed the 7 pillars of this silent power. Silence creates a vacuum of mystery, forcing her to invest in the puzzle of who you are. It acts as an impenetrable shield, deflecting her emotional tests and proving your inner strength. It speaks the ancient primal language of dominant masculinity, establishing a powerful polarity. It signals a profound lack of neediness, positioning you as the prize to be won. It invites her to reveal her own soul, forging a bond of true intimacy. It signals unshakable strength in the face of chaos, proving you are a rock she can anchor. 2. And finally, it is the very engine of longing, using absence to create a craving for your presence. These are not 7 different tricks. They are 7 different facets of a single, unified state of being. the state of a man who is master of himself. The man who has conquered his own compulsive need for validation, for speech, for control over outside events. He's a man who has found his center, and from that center radiates a quiet, powerful confidence that is more potent than any charming line or grand gesture. The modern world is a conspiracy against this kind of man. It is a world of noise, of distraction, of constant broadcasting. You are encouraged from birth to be a performer, to put on a show, to sell yourself, to talk, to post, to share, to explain. The man who chooses the path of silence and restraint is a rebel. He is swimming against a powerful cultural tide. He is choosing the difficult, lonely path of inner cultivation over the easy, crowded path of outward performance. But it is the only path that leads to the kind of strength that truly matters. It is the only path that can earn a woman's deep, lasting, and unwavering respect. She may be entertained by the jester, but she will only ever give her heart to the king. And a king does not feel the need to shout about his own power. His power is self-evident in his calm, his composure, his quiet, dignified presence. This is the profound lesson of Stoicism applied to the realm of attraction. It is the understanding that you cannot control her feelings. You cannot control her reactions. You cannot argue or persuade or charm her into feeling desire. You can only control yourself. You can only control your own mind, your own tongue, your own actions. You must, therefore, turn your entire focus away from her and onto yourself. You must stop trying to be an interesting man and start the much harder work of being a man who is interested in his own growth, his own purpose, his own principles. You must become a man who is so deeply engaged in the project of building his own inner kingdom that he has no time or energy to waste on frivolous chatter or needy pursuits. You must fall in love with the process of your own self-mastery. When you do this, something remarkable happens. The quiet confidence, the powerful silence, the natural restraint, these are no longer tactics you are employing. They are the natural, effortless byproducts of who you have become. You are not playing a strong, silent man. You simply are one. In the end, what a woman truly craves is not a man who can talk a good game, but a man who embodies a profound and peaceful strength. She is drowning in a world of noise, of anxious men seeking her approval, of chaotic emotions, both her own and those of others. She is desperately searching for a lighthouse. The man of frantic words and nervous energy is just another storm-tossed ship, as lost as she is. But the man who has mastered silence and restraint, the man whose inner world is a fortress of calm, becomes that lighthouse. His quiet, unshakable presence is a beacon in her storm. It is a promise of safety, a point of stability, a source of profound and unwavering peace. This is the ultimate seductive power. It is not about a trick or a technique. It is about the ambient energy of a man who has achieved sovereignty over his own soul. This path is not for everyone. It is a path that requires immense discipline, a commitment to facing your own inner demons, your neediness, your fear of loss, your craving for validation. It is the path of the spiritual warrior. It demands that you find more satisfaction in your own self-control than in her applause. It demands that you value your own peace more than her fleeting opinion. But for the man who is brave enough to walk this path, the rewards are immeasurable. It is the reward of a life lived with honor and integrity. It is the reward of a deep, unshakable inner peace that no external event can disturb. And it is the reward of attracting a woman who is drawn not to your performance, but to the very essence of your character. It is a love built not on the shifting sands of charm and persuasion, but on the solid rock of mutual respect. Therefore, your great work is not to learn what to say, It is to learn when to be silent. It is not to learn how to fill the space, but how to hold it. It is to transform yourself from a man who is defined by his words into a man who is defined by his presence. This is the journey from being a boy who needs to be heard to a man who is worth listening to. This is the essence of the Stoic path. It is the cultivation of a quiet mind, a disciplined spirit, and an unconquerable soul. If this philosophy resonates with you, if you feel the call to become a man of substance rather than a man of words, then your journey has just begun. Subscribe to this channel. Commit yourself to this practice. Learn to find your strength not in the noise you can make, but in the silence you can command. Stay strong, stay grounded, and let your silence speak volumes.